Alright, hello everyone, and welcome back to Tyrion Cuthbert,
died there.
Attorney of the Arcane.
Oh, well, somebody's died.
I've killed people. They're usually criminals or bandits, but it still frightened me how unaffected I was by their deaths. It always came so easily to me. I was good at it. A little too good. People told me that taking the lives of others would be hard, but I never felt that uneasiness, not even once. It made me think I was some kind of unfeeling monster. And maybe I am. But the time I spent with you filled me with more happiness than I could have ever dreamed of. Instead of taking... Oh, this is probably,
This is Celeste.
This is
Yeah,
Celeste.
this is probably Celeste.
Bitch.
Go for it.
Yes,
Bitch.
you are.
Needed context,
you are.
but yeah, no, now that we have a bit of context.
Instead of taking lives, I could save them alongside you. It felt good to protect you. I
Yeah.
felt needed when I knew you were relying on me. It made me feel like I was actually worth something to someone. And whenever I saw the light in your eyes, it filled my heart with a warm feeling that I've never felt before.
That's called Horace.
But it was too good to be true, wasn't it? In the end, I failed you. I couldn't protect you just like I couldn't protect my father. I don't understand. What did you ever see in someone like me?
Uh-oh. I don't like that. I don't like the implications there.
I don't like that.
Tyrion? You still haven't gotten out of bed yet. It's almost noon.
Man, that's a fucking mood.
I just want to rest for today.
You've been saying that for the last 10 days.
That is definitely a mood.
Someone is actually here to see you. You should really get out of bed.
Is it tomorrow?
No.
Still not really in the mood. Can you just send them away?
Rude, but I suppose I could have a look at this time.
Steelwind! As the prosecutor enters your room, you immediately leap out of your bed. You try to futilely clean your unkempt hair, but you're just making it worse.
Tyrion! Pants!
Right, sorry.
I'll give you some time to ready yourself. I knew he was in a rut, but I certainly didn't expect this.
I know. I'm really worried about him.
I empathize with the situation, but it's been a month already.
You're really quiet, Elena.
No, it's just you.
I'm hearing her fine.
Is that?
It's literally just you.
Hello?
Have you tried speaking with him?
Bump you up on my end then.
He has opened up to you before.
I did, but I think he's really broken up over what happened with Ruby. She's basically the closest thing he had to family.
I see. Perhaps he just needs more time.
After taking some time to make yourself presentable, you exit your room to greet the prosecutor properly. Sorry about that.
No, I suppose the fault is mine. I shouldn't have intruded.
We're taking you to court over that.
Anyways, what brings you here?
Present the badge!
Are you doing well, Mr. Cuthbert? You seem...
I'm fine.
Apollo?
Of course. I just couldn't help but notice your absence. You haven't taken any of their clients in Beatrice's trial.
I'm gonna be honest, I'm not even sure if I want to be a defense attorney anymore.
What?
I've spent my whole life training to be one, but I was only doing it because someone else told me to.
Did you not enjoy it? You are very skilled at it.
I don't know. I've been trying to take some time to think about everything, but you still haven't found any answers.
Have you considered becoming a prosecutor? Your time as my stand-in made it clear that you have the ability to.
Prosecutor. You would never have even considered that a year ago, but you understand now. There are criminals who need to be brought to justice. Despite how difficult she is to face, Steelman never engages in outright corruption like the other prosecutors of the Crown. If you follow her example, you could fight injustice that way. But even if you did that, you'd just be following someone else's footsteps, just like before. I'll think about it.
Please do. At this point, I could use all the help I could find.
Have your injuries been healing well?
Yes. Nightgrave's skill in necromancy is quite remarkable. I'm glad I introduced him to House Asclepius.
Yeah.
Asclepius?
Asclepius?
House Asclepius specializes in the study of necromancy. After Nightgrave's expulsion from the Academy, I thought it was only right that he be allowed to continue his studies.
Right. He mentioned that he owed you a favor.
I just looked it up. That's literally the
It was only logical.
god of medicine.
It would be a
Very
waste to
fitting.
let someone of his talents fall into obscurity.
Very fun. I'm glad Wallace was able to continue his studies. He clearly wants to use his talents to better society. He's definitely in a better place than you are right now. Even so, should you be moving around like this? You should take some time off to recover.
Much as I would like to, there's been a recent uptick in cases of mage blight lately.
Mage blight. You recall hearing about that many times. If a mage exceeds their stamina by overusing their magic, it starts to affect their mind and send them into a violent frenzy.
To make matters worse, the nobility has been trying to suppress information about these incidents.
Right. It's not a good look whenever a mage goes on a murderous rampage.
I was actually surprised to see you here, Celeste.
Well, I can't just leave him alone anymore. He ticked off a criminal overlord. And he can't really take care of himself right now. They're definitely gonna send someone after him.
Celeste, your thoughts are leaking.
Hey, get out of my head!
What?
It's nothing.
I am surprised, though. Not many people slight the Eye Taker and live. He's known for taking swift retaliation against his enemies.
We're hoping he's laying low after his plan with Beatrice fell through.
That does match with the reports I've read. Supposedly, he's been absent from many of his enterprises.
Either way, you're not looking forward to dealing with him. It's bad enough that you're already on the nobility's bad side.
By the way, Tyrion, Ruby sent another letter.
Oh, great. More kindling.
Burn it.
Do you want to...
Put it with the rest.
Right.
Have you spoken to her since the trial? I see. That does explain her recent mood.
Right. You two probably see each other a lot.
I've prosecuted a few of her clients recently. But it's clear she's not nearly as threatening as before.
We talk about something else.
Of course. My apologies.
Oh, the tea's ready.
Good.
Oh, thank you. Some tea sounds lovely right now.
Right. I was totally making it for you guys.
She walks to the cabinet in your kitchen and she takes out 2 more teacups.
You guys better enjoy this. These are my last bags of... Oh, whoa.
As she walks over to you, she slips on a scroll case you left on the floor. She regains her balance, but the teacup slips out of her hand. The boiling liquid is airborne and heading straight towards your face.
Big Aqua.
Celeste reacts immediately and points her index finger at the tea. Her magic takes hold, and the tea freezes just inches from your face. She breathes a sigh of relief and brings the tea back into their cups.
You really need to clean this place. I'm your bodyguard, I'm not your maid.
Right, sorry about that.
That was shaped liquid, wasn't it?
Yeah?
Oh, I never expected you to...
I know, but it's just too convenient not to have.
She's really opened her mind about learning new spells.
It was the spell that,
Yep. That killed her
Yep.
father. You remember when you first met her? Back then, she only knew how to cast Mage Blight. She hated magic back then. You never imagined how diverse her repertoire would become.
Another visitor?
I'm already up, I'll check on it.
Well, whoever they are, I'm not giving up any more of my lotus tea.
Aww.
Ruby, Ruby, Ruby.
You open the door and don't see anyone, but there's a letter in your mailbox. You take a closer look at the envelope. It's sealed with candle wax. There's a crest on it. The insignia of House Pierce? You quickly open the letter and read it. Despite supposedly being written by a noble, the paper has been torn in half. The message is clear.
I hope you understand. I would have never contacted you unless I had no other choice. I know the truth behind McCoy's true parentage. I'm aware of how vital this information is to you. As you know, my execution is scheduled for next month, and I'm running out of time. I want to trade this information with you. In exchange, you will grant me my freedom. Meet me in the private prayer room within the Grand Cathedral of the Scaled Lord at 2 p.m. You will save me from my fate, or else.
What?
Sketchy as fuck.
Pierce.
If he thinks for a second that we'd even think of helping him,
I know how you feel, but aren't these the answers you've been looking for?
I don't care. We're not going to help him.
That was never an option, but there's clearly more to this.
I agree. How was he able to find out in the first place? The truth is, Celeste, I've also been looking into your parentage.
Oh.
What? Why didn't you say anything?
I'm sorry, but I didn't want to raise your hopes. And I was apparently right to do so. I couldn't find any information regarding your birth.
So if you couldn't find anything, how was Pierce able to?
House Pierce is low on the political hierarchy. He doesn't have access to the resources I do. He does own the land the McCoy Tavern is on. But frankly, the whole situation is quite suspect.
Why would he ask for my help? I was the one who indicted him in the first place. Even if I did agree to help him, it would be nearly impossible for me to get him an acquittal.
He must be desperate. His execution is scheduled for next month, after all. It's possible that he'll reach out to Tamora as well. Still, I can't believe he set up a meeting at the Grand Cathedral today of all days.
Why? What's happening there?
I'm sorry, but it's not my place to tell you.
Aya, can I talk with Tyrion alone for a minute?
Of course, I'm sure you have much to discuss. I actually also visit at the cathedral today. I'll be taking my leave.
Sorry. I'm sure this is just bringing up bad memories for you.
We should meet with him.
What?
We're not going to help him, obviously, but I have an idea. He's probably really scared of his execution, right? And he's desperate enough to ask you for help.
I suppose that's true.
So, think about how stressed he would be if you showed up and refused to help him.
I could use the Eye of Horus on him.
We can get the info we need without having to give him anything.
But are you really okay with this? You'll have to see him again.
Yeah, I'll manage. And it'll be worth it if we can finally get the answers I'm looking for.
Worst
You've
comes to
already
worst.
gotten her hopes up, but there's no
Yeah.
guarantee that he actually knows the truth. He could just be bluffing to get you to help him. if he does know, you can't just ignore this. You need to verify his claims yourself.
Oh my god, Freedom Kings. So this is the Grand Cathedral of the Scaled Lord.
Have you never been here before? I thought you spent a lot of time in Ratholm.
The Church of Bahamut wasn't that popular in my hometown, and I've never been the religious type. What about you?
It never really caught on with me, and apparently my roots are more celestial than draconic.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. He certainly has the looks for it.
Your thoughts are leaking again.
Can you stop?
I literally can't. Those mental exercises I taught you.
Ah,
As you approach the Grand Cathedral, you see a large blockade guarded by legions of the King's Guard.
it's closed off. Is there some kind of event going on?
You recall Steelwind mentioning that she was heading here as well. The nobility must be using the cathedral grounds for something. Might explain why Pierce wanted to meet you here. It's probably secluded from prying eyes today.
Tyrion, Cuthbert.
As you approach the blockade, one of the knights notices you. He glances at you and Celeste.
We've been expecting you.
I see. You exchange glances with Celeste, but you both enter the cathedral grounds. The main building is massive, yet mostly empty. You only see a few people within, and most of them are quite familiar. You spot LaFay and Miriam as you head further into the room. They both avoid eye contact with you, but it doesn't seem to be purely out of resentment. As soon as they see you, they move their conversation elsewhere. It's clear they still have mixed feelings about how you convicted their sister. In another corner of the room, you spot Lloyd von Sanctus speaking with another individual. She seems, oh my god, she
Whoa!
seems someone of equal social standing.
Love that design.
You feel like you've seen her somewhere before, but you can't quite remember where.
She knows what makes people tick.
Fuck if I know
She knows
where.
how to make the ticking stop.
As soon as you enter the room, Von Sanctus quickly flashes a look of disdain at you. You see him slowly move his conversation out of the room as well. And finally, you see Lucio Steelwind speaking with his daughter, along with the two princes. They seem to be speaking with another individual that you haven't met before. When he notices you, his gaze narrows and he stares at the two of you warily. Aster, especially, seems surprised to see her. Oh, is this the wedding? Oh, is this the wedding? He and Lucio ask the prosecutor something, but you can't quite hear their conversation. When she responds, Aster raises his eyebrow and Lucio's expression darkens. What's going on here?
This is a little awkward.
Yeah. We have some time before our meeting with Pierce. Do you want to do some sightseeing?
Oh, are you asking me out?
We are literally already out.
Sure, why not? I picked up this map from the entrance. We can use it to navigate through the area.
Death flag.
Map. Please take a map.
I'm also a little interested in what all these nobles are doing here.
It is strange. Perhaps someone can tell you more.
It's the map. It's the map.
Oh,
it's the
I
map.
literally... I think I saw Arya. Oh,
No,
oh,
but,
no, that is you.
I
Nope, you're good.
think I saw Arya over there. We should go say hi.
As you approach the group, the Grand General and the unnamed noble stare at the two of you. Hello? The nobleman looks at you and then at Celeste. He silently scans the two of you. It's as if he's trying to read something. He then walks away without a word.
Rude.
At this point, I'm kind of used to it.
Mr. Cuthbert and Miss McCoy, I'm surprised to see you here.
What? I thought you were the one who invited them.
Sad to say that I didn't. Although I am happy to see you two nonetheless. brings you to the Grand Okay, so there's no beef with us arresting his ex. Got it.
No. We were actually invited by another noble. We have a meeting with him.
What? None of the people here are allowed to invite guests. Why didn't the guards stop you?
Oh, they said they were expecting us.
What?
It was Lord Pierce who invited them.
Pierce! That little. And to think I granted his request for temporary release.
I'm sure he meant no disrespect by it. He probably had his reasons.
How can you say that? This is the day of your...
He stops himself mid-sentence and clears his throat.
Make no mistake, even if he is a dead man, I will have words with him about this.
I have to ask, why are all these nobles gathered here? You've taken over the entire Grand Cathedral. As you ask that question, everyone seems to tense up. The prosecutor awkwardly looks at the two princes. Prince Ulrich avoids making eye contact with everyone and just stares at the ground.
I'm sorry, but I'm not at liberty to tell you that. It's a matter of public safety.
I see. It's a little strange, but you can read the room. Crying isn't the best thing to do right now.
You said that Lord Pierce invited you here. For what reason?
I can't really tell you that.
You will tell us if it poses a threat to the nobles in attendance.
Please, Lord Steelwind, there's no need for that. Mr. Cuthbert would never do anything to put anyone's life in danger.
As you wish, Your Majesty. There's the reason why Pierce
Oh,
has
it's
been
worse than a marriage.
It's a coronation. Oh! Oh no!
Both. Probably. Maybe.
Interesting. So Pierce was temporarily released to attend whatever this is. He could have met with you in his cell, but perhaps he wanted to be away from prying eyes. Lady Steelwind, Your Majesty, the High Speaker is ready to speak with you.
Oh,
Wonderful. I've been looking forward to this all day. Shall we go together, Miss Steelwind?
Aww.
Yes, Your Majesty, she would like to accompany you.
Wonderful. We shouldn't keep him waiting.
okay.
I love her.
Yeah.
She's the best.
Oh, Scaled Lord. How does she plan to marry him if she can't even speak properly in his presence?
Honestly.
I also have something important to do. Good day to you, commoners!
He's going to the washrooms.
I will be taking my leave as well, but make no mistake. My men will be keeping an eye on you too.
Everyone has left the room now. Perhaps you should move somewhere else.
We should move somewhere else.
Move!
What are you doing here? You follow us. Not intentionally.
Trust me, you're the last person I
No, no, that's Tyrion.
Trust me, I
probably-
believe the same. Ditto, bitch.
Do you want this, or do I take her?
Who
I could do it. I could do it.
wants...
Oh boy, here we go. Hush now, Von Sanctus. If they are here by chance, it is because the cosmic balance wills it so.
Hey, not this again.
Sorry, I don't think we've met.
Divination, of course.
I am Coraline Sybil, Lady of the House of Sybil.
So this is the head of the Fourth Pillar family. Which is not quite what you were expecting. Between her, Lucio, Lloyd, and William, she definitely seems to be the most agreeable. For better or worse, you've gotten to know the other 4 Pillar families decently well. It might benefit you to learn more about her. First, I'm an attorney. Okay.
Ponder the orb.
So, you're the leader of House Sybil? What does your family do exactly?
How are you this ignorant?
Each of the 4 pillars, as you commoners call them, hold different branches of the kingdom's government. House Steelwind oversees national defense and law enforcement. House Frege oversees economic development and finances. House Von Sanctus handles commerce both local and international. And finally, there's House Sybil. We handle the kingdom's legislative and judicial branches.
That would also mean you're responsible for our kingdom's justice system.
That is correct.
Oh, wonderful. Here we go.
Lady Sybil, are you aware of the rampant corruption happening within your justice system?
I suppose it's only inevitable that you'd see it that way.
Am I wrong? I've been involved in plenty of court cases and it's very obvious. All your courts care about is closing cases as quickly as possible. The system is corrupt to its core. The courts don't even try to hide it half the time.
Yet you've prevailed against this so-called corruption in each and every one of your cases.
Only against every conceivable odd, and I can't be everywhere. Do you have any idea how many commoners are falsely convicted every day?
If they are convicted under my system, it's only because the cosmic balance deems it so.
What are you even talking about?
The cosmic balance is the natural order of things. Under it, the guilty are punished while the innocent are protected.
And yet when a noble commits a crime, they only need to waive their influence to escape any consequences. All while their victims are forced to suffer in silence. Or worse, an innocent commoner is framed for the crime.
Regardless of your personal feelings, our kingdom needs the nobility to govern the people. If they were held to the same standards as commoners, our society would surely collapse.
You take back what you
You
said
know-
about her being the most agreeable of the 4
I was
pillars.
about to say, she went from being the most agreeable to just another one.
So you think nobles like Pierce and Von Sanctus should just be allowed to get away with murder?
Yes.
Are you still sore about that? I'm sure you realized it by now. I've more than paid for what happened to Jason Webb.
His name was Justin Wayne.
And if you were truly paying for your crimes, you would be in prison right now.
Von Sanctus made a mistake, but removing him from his position would only create more suffering. Our government is barely recovering from the death of William Frege. Wybangard can't suffer the loss of another house leader this close to that.
The way I see it, I think you nobles overstate your importance in our lives. We'd probably be fine without you.
And I suppose you commoners are capable of coordinating macroeconomic initiatives. Oh, and I suppose you're also capable of engaging in diplomacy with the other nations. Face it, as much as you loathe to admit it, ours is a symbiotic relationship.
More like a parasitic relationship.
All with a smile on her face, love that.
Yep.
So what? The common folk should just continue to suffer for the good of our nation? Lady Sybil, the people of the kingdom you claim to be protecting are suffering because of your inaction.
My inaction? You place the blame on me, but what have you done?
Bitch defended people. What the fuck do you think?
You were once a champion of your so-called justice, but you've stopped your work as a defense attorney. How many lives could you have saved in the month that you spent on vacation?
10.
It's not his responsibility to solve your mess. You have no idea how much he suffered trying to do the right thing.
Celeste.
Perhaps you're right. He shouldn't bear that kind of responsibility alone. But every commoner has the ability to learn and practice law as you do, Mr. Cuthbert. So why are you one of the few commoners that do so? From what I've heard, you're one of the few people who defend mages of the common folk. Every other attorney wouldn't even consider taking them as clients. Perhaps the problem lies in the common folk then. They are fully capable of rising to defend the so-called innocent, yet they do nothing. That almost became the absolute opposite.
Never mind. This was clearly a mistake. Let's go, Celeste.
Yeah.
Finally, thank the Scaled Lord.
I'm about to bash her in the head with her own orb.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess I should have expected that. I never expected someone with so much power to be so out of touch with reality.
Come on. Let's go somewhere else. We still have some time before the meeting.
I
I'm
think
sure
it should
nothing
be.
bad could possibly happen.
I think it should be clear, but I am so happy that Von Sanctus is still around. No, I mean he deserves to be in prison. I'm just glad to voice him.
What?
This is very funny.
Holy
is-
crap.
We have this with no context.
How much you want to bet this was the kid?
I mean, Dad, can we get an alicorn? We have an alicorn at home, Jimmy.
The Alicorn at home.
Can we rename this to? Can we make that the stream title?
Alicorn
We
at
have an
home.
alicorn at home.
Sure.
You know what? This means only one thing. M.A. Larson has been here.
Oh my gosh.
You find
Thanks,
yourself
Larson.
in the Grand Cathedral's garden and stumble upon a strange statue.
Wow. That's a little out of place. What even is it?
If my memory is correct, it's Pegasus.
Hello, friends.
As you inspect the contemporary piece of artwork, you're startled by a familiar voice.
Eris!
And it looks like she's not alone either. Along with Eris, she seems to be accompanied by both of her sisters. But Beatrice, are you supposed to be...
Dead?
Sorry, I wasn't trying to say...
No, it's perfectly understandable. You, of all people, know it was on my blood contract. But it appears the Lady of Discord isn't going to kill me just yet.
Wait, what?
That said
what?
use. That said use
Mm.
instead of kill.
Do you really have to do that?
What?
Never mind.
Oh, she's aware of.
Mm-hmm. Right. A little awkward speaking to the Frege sisters after everything that's happened. They don't seem hostile, and all things considered, you prefer their company over Sybil's. Although, you're still not sure how you feel about speaking with a murderer, especially one that you indicted. But Beatrice clearly knows more about demons and their kind than you do. You wonder if she knows anything about the Heavensborn. So, you seem to be doing well, all things considered.
You mean how a demon now has ownership of my soul?
Yeah, that.
How can you be so calm about this?
I must agree with Miriam. It's a little unnerving how nonchalantly you're treating this. I suppose it's the knowledge that everything is out of my hands now. There's something peaceful about it. That's certainly a positive way to look at it.
Elena's 3 characters.
Yeah.
Is so
Elena is 3 characters.
Might need to pass
two.
LaFay to someone.
Me, I'll take it.
Go, okay.
Okay.
You know, my offer still stands. I can try to help you.
At the risk of your own life. Which part of the contract would you dispute anyways?
The Divine Edict you made you aware of every element in her blood contract. There was very little room for interpretation. It was airtight.
The demon I signed the contract with is very meticulous about the details. I've spent the last 5 years looking for any possible loopholes, but I didn't find anything substantial I could use. I don't even think disputing it is possible.
Sorry.
Don't be. You defeated me. I won't suffer your pity.
I feel like we always end up randomly meeting like this, Eris. What brings you here?
I requested to accompany Beatrice to this event. After all, I don't have many opportunities to enter a church like this. I can imagine.
Listen, they need to invite me in, else I burn up.
By the way, is your father still...
Oh, if you're worried about him, we've already had a conversation about you. I don't think he'll be accosting you anytime soon.
Oh, thank you.
That seems too good to be true. How'd you pull something like that off? Did you kill him? I mean...
He may look like a hardened criminal, but he's always had a soft spot for his family. He also owed me. And I have a way of making people see things my way.
Mm-hmm.
He's right about that.
Wait, if you're here, does that mean Maranath is also...
Oh, heavens no. There's no way they'd let me bring him here of all places. I kept him at the entrance with the King's Guard. If he tries to escape, that knight over there is ordered to kill me.
She gestures to the knight that's silently watching the sisters from afar.
I'm just imagine him just popping his head out of the bush with some leaves stuck to his helmet with his trained sniper rifle.
You're surprisingly calm about this.
Please. I regularly deal with demons. This is nothing in comparison to that.
He really hasn't changed.
Elena?
I suppose not.
Wait, does that mean you can't see right now? How did you know which statue I was looking at?
It was a lucky guess. That grotesque statue certainly makes an impression on you. Oh, Maranath spoke to me. He wanted me to let you know he can smell your celestial stink from the entrance.
I love you too, Maranath.
Oh wow. I probably shouldn't repeat his response to that.
Oh my
I love
god.
Martin, every character in this game is like either the best person or the
Fuck
worst
you too,
person in the
Heavensborn.
best way. Does that make sense?
I get the
Where does Miriam fit in, or where does Beatrice fit into that?
Probably closer to worst in the best way, but still with elements of the best. Does that make sense?
Sure. By the way, you seem to know a lot more about these things than I do. What exactly is a Heavensborn?
What? Did you seriously not know? But you know how to issue a divine edict. That's a very advanced technique.
Sort of. It came to me in the moment.
What? Anyways, I'm quite surprised you didn't know about your lineage.
Perhaps my mother knew, but I lost her when I was really young.
I see. You have my condolences. But to answer your question, a Heavensborn is a human whose bloodline has been touched by the gods.
So an Azamar.
Gods? You mean like the Scaled Lord?
No, I'm speaking of the actual gods.
Beaches, you can't say that here.
Oh, come off it. What's the church going to do? Arrest me?
Yes!
Anyways, your blood has been touched by the Celestials of the upper planes. Much like my soul is bound to the abyssal hells, Your soul is consecrated and tied to the heavens.
Heavens. Is that why you're able to use the Eye of Horus? Is it some kind of angelic power?
Make no mistake, though. If you find yourself under the wrong circumstances, even you can be sent to hell.
Oh. The Church of Bahamut is prominent in Wyverngard, but this is the first time I've heard of the Celestial Gods.
Ah, that makes sense. It's probably because of Wyverngar's bloody history with the Theocracy of Lumina.
The Theocracy? Aren't they the nation northeast of us?
Yes. The Luminites worship the celestial gods, while our people worship the ancient dragons. A few decades ago, our nation was locked in a bitter war with the Luminites. Even now, the Crown sees the celestial religions as a possible threat to its common culture. The Church has done its best to wipe out any religions that worship the Celestials.
I see.
If the bloodline is blessed by the Celestials, does that mean that our kids could also be heaven's born?
I suppose so. I think my mother was also a... Wait, what did you just say?
Your kids! I asked if your kids will be heaven's
Pause
born.
and log.
Oh,
Pause and log.
I must have misheard you then.
Stop now and check the
I
logs.
must have misheard you.
Check the logs. I love.
She doesn't have Eris's power. It absolutely says ours.
Yup.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. She doesn't have
Eris
Eris's
just standing
power.
there like, nope, I didn't do anything
I-
here. And I didn't
I'm not
have to
touching
do
that one. I'm just gonna let that one sit.
Miriam.
Sigh.
Oh,
If only you were always this easy to lie to.
Wait, what? I feel like I missed something. Can you
It-
actually?
No, it's literally them going like, wow, he literally fell for that when Celeste tricked him.
Saying your instead of our, and it's like,
Yep.
if only you were this easy to lie to all the time.
Anyway, I'm a little curious about the Theocracy of Lumina. They worship Celestials there. Would I find other Heavensborn there?
Heavensborn aren't that common there either. Frankly, I'm surprised there's even one Heavensborn living in Wyvengard. How did your bloodline even find its way here?
I suppose I don't really know. My mother never told me much about our ancestry.
That makes sense. If the Church of Bahamut knew what you were, they would have definitely hunted you down.
Great. Last thing you need is another faction that wants to kill you.
That's like, what, 5 by now?
Anyway,
The noble.
travel into and out of Wyvengard is technically legal. And I doubt Lord Steelwind would make an exception for you. He is an old veteran of the Great Luminite War.
Veteran? 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 Oh no. Hate the vet. I'm not going. You'll never keep me alive.
Oh, there he goes. You all watch as Tracker frantically runs through the garden, barking loudly. LaFay chases after him as he runs towards someone.
I should probably go help her.
It's almost 2 p.m. anyways, so we should head to the prayer room.
Tracker!
Thank you for answering my questions, Beatrice. Please let me know if there's anything I can do to help you with your situation.
Of course.
Let's go, Celeste.
Right.
I think one thing this game definitely does better than most Ace Attorney is just keeping characters relevant. Like,
Oh yeah, no, everything...
The-
They
this
tried...
case so
They made sure to
Yeah.
tie every single case back into the Pillar family some way so that everyone could
Yeah.
come back at this point, and it's really clever.
even Pierce is supposedly coming back.
Yeah, because he's a noble. He's here for the
Yeah.
coronation. And the fact that they have Nightgrave as the healer for Celeste, or not Celeste, Arya Steelwind, means that he's relevant as well because he's literally healing someone who was attacked in the previous case. It's really fucking clever. I like it. I like how
So the only person we're not
everything is.
So the only person we're not going to have is the headmaster.
Yeah, I think so.
And
also Celeste's mother, but like, yeah.
Probably also, like, a couple characters from the from third case, maybe not, but
oh yeah, that's
Lord,
true.
I hope we get the
Try not to
Chionbyo.
look so down. It's almost time for the main event.
Don't like that.
Why did you bring me here? Oh, who knows? Whatever you're planning to make me do, please don't make me harm my sisters. You're in no position to make demands. You'll just have to see for yourself. Stay safe, Mr. Cuthbert.
Beatrice just kind of like waves her hand in front of her own face.
Full on like top.
Look, it's out in the desert. And that's what you got idiots will sound like.
There it is. That's what it'll sound like when one of you spots it.
Top is
so
the
fucking
best.
good.
Am I looking right down the lane again? Fuck!
I think it looks
I
just
look
like
like
him. Why, thank you. Why do you always have to do that?
Here, let me put up the stupid poster.
It's upside down, isn't it?
It's just backwards.
Oh, so fucking good. Anyways, we ready?
Yeah. At least I hope so.
If it becomes too much for you, don't hesitate to leave. I only need a few moments to look into his mind.
No, I'm the one who asked you to do this. And I'm not going to leave you alone with him.
Alright, if that's what you want.
Tyrion,
Yeah?
thank you for doing this. It really means a lot to me.
Of course. This will finally give you the answers you've been looking for.
It's not just that. You've done so much for me since I met you. You got me acquitted. You helped me work through my grief for my dad. Feels like I can never repay that.
What are you talking about? For the past few months, all I've been doing is relying on you. I really don't know what I'd do if you weren't part of my life.
I should tell him.
Tell me what?
Ah, get out of my head!
You're really bad at guarding your mind. You know you can tell me anything, right?
Both of you were standing there.
Well, I knew you'd be here around this time. I wanted to wish you luck. But then the two of you seem to be in the middle of something. I didn't want to interrupt. Don't stop on my account. I'll just get out of your way.
She awkwardly skittered the way. You see something fall out of her pocket.
Arya, you dropped your runestone.
As she picks up the runestone, she accidentally activates it. An image of a piece of evidence appears for a brief moment, but she quickly hides it. But not before Celeste sneaks a peek at it.
Oh.
Oh, I see.
Celeste, don't just invade her privacy like that.
Don't be like that. I'm really happy for you.
Thank you.
Was it a picture of her dress?
Good luck.
Part of you really wants to know what she saw, but one of you has to exercise some self-restraint. Anyways, let's go meet with them.
Yeah, let's do this. I can tell him after.
I get the feeling after is gonna be, like 3 weeks from now.
Ah, you finally arrived. I suppose this means you finally decided. Wait, you two?
We got your letter.
The letter? What letter?
You sent us a letter, Pierce. It said that you knew who Celeste's parents were.
I did send that letter, but not to you two.
I had a feeling. What?
I don't like this.
Yep.
So the final act begins. I've been waiting for this.
Bitch. What the hell are you doing? Have you gone mad? You know, what are you doing? Stop!
Uh-oh!
Boom.
Oh.
Lady Steelwind? What are you? Is this also the will of cosmic balance?
Yep. Regicide, baby.
Just tell us the truth.
It's a
You are
regicide.
the last person I would give this information to.
He's getting more and more stressed. Just a little more and you'll... As you interrogate him, you suddenly hear a loud crash outside the room. What was that?
I'm going to take a look and see what's going on.
What? Are you just going to leave us here?
He's right. We don't know what's going on. We should stay together.
Don't worry. There were 2 guards outside, and they're from the King's Guard. You'll be fine.
That's not what I'm worried about. But I'll trust your judgment.
What?
Oh, that was a lot of squeaking on your side.
Sorry.
It's been almost 10 minutes since Celeste went to investigate the noise. Pierce seems extremely on edge. He's been sitting at one of the tables and impatiently tapping its surface with his finger. So, you never intended to send that letter to me. Who did you send it to then?
Oh, as if I would ever tell you that.
Luckily for you, he should have accumulated enough stress by now.
What? Why are you looking at me like that?
Even if I wasn't the intended recipient, you did say that you knew who Celeste's biological parents were. Who are they?
Are you seriously focused on that now?
Answer the question, Pierce.
What was that?
Omnia.
What is this? A blue luminous vapor enters the room. As soon as it makes contact with you, you suddenly feel extremely fatigued.
Damn it, it's a sleep spell.
Oh, good to know.
I miscalculated.
No. They got here, that means... Celeste. You try your hardest to stay conscious, but the spell's too powerful. You feel your body slowly dropping to the ground. No! Beatrice?
Would you like to save your progress?
I get the feeling all of the Pillar House heads are dead.
Tyrion! Tyrion!
What?
I want to rest today. Wait, what?
Celeste?
Tyrion, I'm so sorry. I should have listened to you. I should have never left you alone with him.
Hey, it's okay. Tears are streaming down her eyes. She was clearly worried about you. You try your best to comfort her as you look around the room. What happened? Why were you knocked out? As you look around, you see several other people with you. Commander White is leading a group of knights, and they all have their weapons drawn and pointed at someone. It's Prosecutor Steelwind?
Commander, I understand your position. There has to be another explanation.
Look, Your Majesty, I get where you're coming from. But from what the witnesses told us, it has to be a case of mage blight.
You look around the room and see a pool of blood at the end of one of the tables. Celeste? Where's Pierce?
Tyrion.
tell you this, kid, but Garrick Pierce is dead.
What?
We're honestly surprised that you're okay.
But who? You look at the knights who all have their weapons pointed at the prosecutor. Wait a minute. You think Steelwind did this?
It wasn't just Lord Pierce, Mr. Cuthbert.
Look him in.
Give me a moment. Computer was having a bit of a fit.
Gotcha.
We also found the bodies of Lord Von Sanctus and Lady No, I can't
Yep.
play Sanctus anymore!
Yep.
Not to mention a bunch of the Kingsguard have gone comatose.
Comatose.
I don't want to believe it, but several people saw Steelwind acting off at the scenes of each of the murders.
We also found her unconscious here. Pierce's body was lying next to her.
Does she even know the sleep spell? Hello? No, it wasn't her. I saw Beatrice before I passed out. She was the one who knocked us out.
Beatrice?
What the hell is going on?
Amanda White, you need to put me in a holding cell. It needs to be one with an anti-magic field.
What?
I'm a danger to everyone here. We need to go now.
What are you talking about?
Now is not the time. Do it, Commander.
Right.
You watch as the Inquisition arrests Steelwind and escort her out of the room. Man, what happened?
I know you have many questions, Mr. Cuthbert, but we should make sure that you're okay.
Yeah, there's a necromancer in the nave.
They have a point. You have no idea what happened while you were asleep. You follow their suggestion, but not before making a note of the current time. It's 3:12 p.m. Oh. Hello. Genuinely surprised it wasn't Nightgrave, but, hello. Who wants him, I guess?
Nothing seems to be out of the ordinary, except...
What's wrong with him?
if you would just let me finish... There appears to be a trace of necromancy on you, Mr. Cuthbert.
Necromancy?
It's probably nothing. Did your assistant cast any spells on you?
Oh, right. I used healing magic on him when I found him unconscious.
I expected as much, but it never hurts to make sure. Anyways, nothing seems to be out of the ordinary. You're quite healthy. You should be fine to go about your business, but please speak with me again if you experience anything out of the ordinary.
Thank you,
I'm Lord Lazaric how the fuck do we
Asclepius.
say it? Asclepius, of House Asclepius. I'm Nightgrave's boss.
mm-hmm.
And there are no thanks needed. My apprentice apparently owes you a lot.
Apprentice.
Wallace Nightgrave. I believe he was one of your clients a few months ago.
Alright, Steelwind did mention that she introduced you to. Speaking of Steelwind, I find it really hard to believe that she did this.
Mr. Cuthbert, Mage Blight isn't exactly a benign condition. When it takes hold of a mage, it doesn't matter what kind of person they are. Violent behavior is almost always a result of the delirium it puts them in. It's unfortunate, but mages have to be held responsible for what cases like this happen.
Unless someone is framing her.
Tyrion, I fought her.
What?
Do you remember back when we heard that weird sound? I went outside to see what was going on. I saw her outside and the guards were all unconscious. I tried to ask her what was going on, but she didn't say anything. She just attacked me.
What was her emotional state like?
Oh! Well, she was pretty cold and emotionless.
It almost looked like she was sleepwalking.
That's actually pretty strange.
What do you mean?
When someone is affected by Mage Blight, they enter a state of extreme psychosis. Psychotic episodes like that raise the affected mage's paranoia to ridiculous levels. That's why these cases almost always end up in violence. If she was affected by Mage Blight, she shouldn't have looked anywhere near as calm as you're describing.
Hmm.
You might be onto something, Mr. Cuthbert.
If what you're saying is true, there has to be more to this.
You're planning to defend her, aren't you?
At the very least, we need to figure out what actually happened. I feel like there's more to this than we're seeing.
But you saw her, right? She wanted them to arrest her.
Right. It's as if she thought she was a danger to others. Regardless of what really happened, she clearly believes that she was responsible for this. There's no way that she'd do something like this. Something else has to be happening here, and you will get to the bottom of this. You're not sure where each of the murders occurred, but the Inquisition should be able to tell you more about that. You'll also need to speak with Steelwind. If she really was affected by Mage Blight, she should be able to remember what may have caused it. But anyway, the prayer room is the room that you're most familiar with. You'll probably want to start there.
Drink up, bitches.
Drink, drink. Sip, sip. You arrive at the prayer room. It's now swarming with knights from the Inquisition. You find yourself staring at the chalk outline of where Pierce's body once was. You can't help but feel a little uneasy. You'd been to plenty of crime scenes before, but even if you were unconscious, you were here when the murder happened. It's a little unnerving knowing how close you came to death.
Are you okay?
Yeah. But now's not the time for an existential crisis. Steelwind's future counts on you figuring out what happened. You still don't know what happened after you fell unconscious. The Inquisition believes that Steelwind broke into this room, knocked you and Pierce out, and then killed him. You remember it clearly. You saw Beatrice before you lost consciousness. There's more at play here than you realize. Celeste also fought Steelwind after Beatrice knocked you out. Perhaps she can tell you more about how she was acting.
I'll be back, guys. I gotta grab something.
Roger.
Alright.
Let's review what happened. Before Beatrice knocked me out, we heard a commotion outside and you went to investigate. Can you tell me more about your fight with Steelwind? What was she like?
Well, she wasn't her usual self. It's like she was in some kind of daze. I noticed it even before she attacked me. Something was wrong with her. Oh yeah, and she didn't even respond to me when I tried to talk to her. It's like she didn't even recognize me.
From what Lord Asclepius said, she would have been acting more erratically if she was affected by Mage Blight. It's possible you fought someone disguised as her.
I guess that's possible. But whoever they were, their magic was still extremely powerful.
And several members of the Four Pillar families were assembled here. It could have been one of them. We should speak with Commander White when we get the chance. The Grand Cathedral was closed from the public for whatever was happening here. They probably have a list of everyone who was present when the murders happened. This means that whoever did this was one of the nobles that was here today. Beatrice can cast invisibility, so I doubt she'd let you see her. But did you actually see her at any point when you were fighting Steelwind? Celeste?
Sorry, I don't know. I was too focused on staying alive.
I've actually been meaning to ask you about that. Aren't you really strong? I've never seen you even break a sweat in a fight before.
Well, she was really tough. It was terrifying, honestly. It was mainly her magic. I've never fought someone with spells that powerful before.
She didn't hurt you, did she?
No, but it got pretty close. I think she realized that she couldn't beat me, so she just ran past me into the prayer room.
So her real target was Pierce. But why? Did you see the moment she murdered Pierce?
No. When I arrived at the prayer room, I saw you and Steel went unconscious on the ground. And Pierce was already dead.
I'm assuming you didn't see Beatrice anywhere.
No. She wasn't there when I arrived.
How'd she leave the prayer room without Celeste noticing? Did she turn herself invisible? We showed up at the prayer room for the meeting at 1:50 p.m. Then we interrogated Pierce for about half an hour. That's when we heard the commotion outside and you went to investigate it.
Right.
And I think Beatrice knocked me and Pierce out 10 minutes after that. How long did you fight Steelwind before she pushed past you?
We definitely fought for a while. It must have been at least 20 minutes. After that, she gave up on fighting me and ran into the prayer room.
Which means that Beatrice somehow got into the room during your fight. That discounts my theory of her disguising herself as Steelwind. You regained consciousness at 3:12 p.m. That means you were knocked out for more than 40 minutes. There's still a lot of unknowns about what happened. You'll need to put all the pieces together if you want to figure out this puzzle. Not present. Ooh, examined. Oh my god. Alright, well, let's start with the big one.
There are traces of conjuration magic all over the room.
That must have been left by Beatrice's sleep spell.
Oh, there's a trace of transmutation here. It's all over the area around his body.
Interesting. Did the murderer wound him using a transmutation spell?
There's a trace of necromancy on the ground here. It's probably from when I tried to heal you.
Good on them for keeping the continuity. There's a chalk outline where Pierce's body probably was. Looks like he was sitting against the altar when he died. And the bloodstain seems to imply the fatal wound came from his chest. An autopsy report would be really helpful here. You should ask the commander for a copy next time you see him. May as well check these out. There are 3 stained glass windows. They look quite nice. Oh, nothing to say? Okay. Alright. Anyway, looks like you found everything you can here. You should move. Yeah. Can we... Oh, right. Oh my god.
Oh no.
Oh my god. It did sound like an explosion, but, Jesus Christ. You retraced...
Yes, Rico.
I didn't ask how big the room was. I said I cast Fireball.
Okay, I'm just imagining Monokuma coming into this. The
It's
fuck
been
am I
discovered.
looking at?
You retrace your footsteps and find the common room. This was the last place you saw Von Sanctus and Sybil before everything happened. You look around and see that most of the room has been entirely scorched. You can still smell the scent of burned cloth and flesh in the air. What happened here?
Was there some kind of fire?
Yeah, we think the perp lit a fire using magic.
As you enter the room, Commander White approaches you. He seems to be accompanied by the typical legion of knights. Commander White?
Hey, kid. You investigating what happened, do?
Something like that. We just want to figure out what really happened.
You and me both. Oh, nothing about this case makes any damn sense. I'll be honest. I could really use your help trying to figure this out.
Honestly, you're not even sure who you can trust at this point, but the commander is leading the investigation, and he's bound to have information that will be useful to you.
This whole situation is a damned mess.
Has the Inquisition found any clues as to explain what happened?
We only have the basic stuff so far. We've only just received the autopsy reports.
It's still pretty useful. Do you have copies of them?
Sure. Knock yourself out.
Autopsy report. Garrick Pierce died at 2:45 p.m. in the prayer room, about a half an hour before he woke up. Sheesh. Cause of death was blood loss. Wait, hang on. I think Celeste would have still been fighting Steelwind at that point, I think. Shard of frozen liquid was found stabbed through his heart. It's... Oh no! Wow! Okay. Oh no. Each of these is gonna be... Okay, I see where this is going. Cool. Very likely that this was the murder weapon. The wound also shows heavy traces of transmutation, traces of conjuration magic were found throughout the room. Autopsy, Coraline Sybil died at 2:18 p.m. Cause of death was suffocation. Her body was found floating in a nearby lake outside of the Grand Cathedral. Traces of transmutation, evocation, and necromancy magic were found on the body. Interesting. Lloyd Von Sanctus died at 2:05 p.m. The cause of death was suffocation. What? The fire in the common room burnt the body too much to discern into specific rooms he might have suffered. However, a small trace of evocation magic and burn mark were found on the victim's left shoulder. This implies the body was hit with a fire-based evocation spell. Traces of abjuration magic were found on the body, found on and around the body. Suffocation. What? Excuse me? Huh? Wait, Pierce was killed with a frozen blade? Isn't that similar to how he killed Flintheart? Sorry, I didn't mean to... Sorry.
No, it's okay.
It's still strange, though. Why would the murderer kill Pierce using such a convoluted method? If Steelwind really was affected by Mageblade, she wouldn't have done something like that. Anyways, the times of death also seem to tell a story. If we look at the reports, the murderer must have killed Von Sanctus, then Sybil, then Pierce, in that order.
Yeah, that's our working theory, too.
If we look at this map, we can see where the prayer room and the common room are. Lady Sybil's body was found in the lake west of here. But since the Grand Cathedral was built on a cliff, there isn't an easy way to get there in such a short amount of time. So that raises my next question. The murderer put, through, yeah. Through Sybil from the balcony. The Grand Cathedral was... Yeet! The Grand Cathedral was built on a cliff over the lake, and the westward balcony just happens to be right over it.
Yeah, guess that makes sense. We even have a witness who saw Steelwind there.
Really? Who was it?
It was High Speaker Theon Arceus.
High Speaker?
He's the shot caller of the Church of Bahamut. And he stands at the top of the religious hierarchy, from what I hear. Spotted Steelwind near the west balcony and noticed she was acting suspiciously. Called out to her, but she ignored him.
So she knew that he saw her, but she didn't attack him?
Yeah, he really lucked out.
If she was having a psychotic episode, he would have noticed that. From what you said, all she did was ignore him.
You're right. This whole Mageblight story doesn't really add up.
Either way, we'll have to talk to him directly to find out more. Putting that aside, there's something else that's strange.
What is that?
It's about the order the murders occurred in. The murderer killed Von Sanctus, Sybil, and Pierce in that order. That means the murderer went to the common room, then the west balcony, and then finally the prayer room. But if we look at the map, the murderer's route seems a bit strange. Purposefully killed Pierce last? I guess killed Sybil second. No? I don't think it's accidentally.
Killed Pierce
Oh.
second.
Oh, could have killed.
Could
Yeah.
have killed. Could have killed Pierce.
Yeah, no, that's correct. The murderer must have passed right by the prayer room before they dumped Sybil's body. Why wouldn't they just murder Pierce on the way there?
Maybe they wanted to dump Sybil's body first.
Or they were afraid of fighting me.
Aren't you giving yourself a little too much credit?
No, she has a point. And if everyone who fought the murderer, Celeste would be the only one who didn't die or fall comatose. Anyway, there has to be a reason why the murderer deliberately chose that route. Okay, you created a rough outline of the murderer's actions, but the real clues will lie in how each of the individual murders occurred. And that starts with figuring out how Von Sanctus was murdered. Alright, so hang on. I need to check something. So it was Sybil, 218. Okay, no, that does line up with about 20 minutes, I suppose. Okay. Just wanted to make sure. How did the Inquisition find out about the murders anyway? Did a witness come across the bodies?
It all started when Prince Howard ran up to us. Told us that he saw a fire breaking out in the common room. He also saw Steele in there, but when he tried to talk to her, she hit him with some kind of spell.
She attacked one of the princes?
Yeah, but it didn't look like she hurt him. That guy from House Asclepius inspected him and he told us he wasn't injured.
Glad that he's okay, but wouldn't Arya have used more violent spell if she was being affected by Mage Blight?
No, it's possible she was throwing spells randomly and she just happened to get really lucky.
I suppose that's possible. But was there anyone else nearby when this happened? I would have expected a Prince of Wyverngard to be under constant guard.
Yeah, that was kind of my mistake. I ordered the knights to give him some space considering what just happened.
And what would that be?
Sorry, kid. If you don't know, it's not my place to tell you.
The king's dead.
I have orders from the top to stay quiet about that.
It looks like you'll need to ask someone higher up. It's still strange, though. Why are all these nobles gathered here?
Anyways, whatever the perp hit him with, it only put him in a daze. He could barely walk or talk. He couldn't even approach us until the spell had worn off. The weirdest about it all is that he was pretty close to where we were. For some reason, we didn't find him until after the spell wore off.
That must have been pretty dramatic. I hope he's okay. Why couldn't anyone see him during this time? Probably got polymorphed, honestly. Probably got polymorphed into like a little rat or something.
It would be very fitting for the little brat. After he told us about what was happening, we went to put out the fires. That's when we saw a bunch of guards knocked out outside the prayer room.
Did you see me?
No, this all happened around 3:10 p.m.
Right, that was probably well after Steelman moved into the prayer room. Lust must have already followed her into it. When you arrested Steelwind, I recall you mentioning that a bunch of guards were comatose. Did the murderer use some kind of spell to knock them out?
I don't think so. I'm just as lost as you are about that. Some of the victims didn't have any magical traces on them, so we know that they're not under the effects of a spell, but they still haven't woken up.
That's odd to say the least. Is there any common thread between the knights who fell comatose? That might help us deduce what happened to them.
Well, we found all of them at locations where Steelwind was spotted. That can't be a coincidence.
But he just admitted that they weren't being affected by any kind of spell. What's going on here? Commander White, you keep saying the perp instead of Steelwind, even though everyone else seems to think she was responsible for this. You also suspect that she's being framed.
Just doesn't add up. If she did give herself Mage Blight, her actions wouldn't have been so deliberate.
And she's definitely not this type of person to just go around murdering people.
Even if she was, she's led a lot of the Inquisition's investigations recently. She's investigated plenty of homicides with us, and she knows exactly how we do things. Whoever did this got the job done. They were sloppy about it. A bunch of witnesses saw her. She didn't even try to hide herself using her magic. So either she had mage blight, which doesn't match with her behavior, or she did this intentionally and wanted to get caught. Neither scenario makes any damned sense.
Someone has to be framing her. It's the only reasonable explanation.
Honestly, I'm not so sure about that either.
What do you mean?
You saw her when we arrested her, didn't you? She wanted us to lock her up. It's like she thought she was a danger to herself and others.
Right, it's the same impression I got as well.
If it weren't for the witnesses' statements, I'd be sure she gave herself mage blight. The strangest thing is that I've never seen her that scared before. Something really rattled her about what happened.
Did you follow up on what I said about Beatrice? No, she was in the room when Pierce and I fell unconscious. She has to be involved in this somehow.
Well, she's already in prison, so we've already ahead on that account. When we asked her what happened, she said that she couldn't remember anything.
Such an obvious lie. She has to be hiding something.
Normally, I'd agree with you, but she's not the only one with missing memories. Steelwind also can't remember anything.
What? Looks like you'll have to speak with her about that. Anyway, what about Eris and the knight who was guarding her? Did they see anything? Also, that is an interesting aspect. We can remember everything that Eris changes. When she changes something, it literally changes for everything else, but we see that flash. So we still have memories of anything that happened prior to that point. That's really cool.
Sorry, kid, but Eris Ilmater has been missing since everything went down.
What? Do you have any idea what happened to her?
No, but I wouldn't be too worried.
What? A witness to the crime is missing and possibly hurt.
Look, kid, you may be a hotshot attorney, but I've been in this business a lot longer than you have. Sometimes when these things happen to civilians, they get spooked and run away. I've seen it a million times.
You feel like he's not making as big a deal of this as he should be, but he might have a point. Eris is the daughter of a crime lord, after all. She might have gone into hiding to avoid having to speak with law enforcement.
We don't have the resources to look for her, but I'm sure she'll turn up eventually.
Well, I suppose we can't do anything about that now, but I still hope she's okay. Anyways, what about the knight guarding Beatrice? Surely he didn't go missing as well.
That's the thing. The knight who was supposed to be watching her is one of the people who went comatose. Found him in front of the prayer room, too.
Damn it, what happened to him?
To make matters worse, that Frege chick knows how to cast invisibility. So even if she was telling the truth, very few people would have actually seen her.
But her guard was in front of the prayer room. She must have brought him there somehow. Anyways, would you happen to have a recent version of her spell compendium?
Sure, already have it on record.
Alright. Contains formulas for the following spells. Familial Bond, Sleep, Mend Wounds, Send Message, Animate Corpse, Necrotic Blight, Shatter, Invisibility, Feign Death, and Feign Death, huh? Well, I guess that wouldn't show... Feign Death would still probably show Magic Trace, though. Illusory Disguise, yeah. I mean, obviously, yeah, Sleep. There's the Familial Bond, Mend Wounds, we know. Send Message, we know. Animate Corpse, we know. Necrotic Blight, we know. Shatter, yeah, we've seen Shatter before. Invisibility, obviously. Feign Death, this is a new one. Caster must target a creature that's already unconscious. While they're concentrating on the spell, the target will appear to be dead. The target creature will stop breathing and their heart will stop beating. However, the life energies of this spell will keep them alive for the duration.
It's a fucking indefinite duration, too.
It is concentration, so you can't cast another concentration spell while it's active, obviously, but yeah. Val Norma. And there is no gesture. Interesting. So I wonder.
It's gonna factor in at some.
Yeah, this one seems a little too, like, I mean, obviously this is the one spell we haven't seen before. Yeah. Right, I forgot how many spells she used during Lord Frega's murder. Yeah, one of those spells absolutely is coming into play. At least. Alright, well. Man, we are gonna be talking with the White for a fucking hot minute. Alright, it's all a little bit difficult to take in. I still can't believe it. After everything he did, Von Sanctus was just murdered.
I'm surprised to hear that from you. Didn't he basically get away with offing just in way? Way I see it, got what he deserved.
That still doesn't sit right with me. No matter who the victims might have been, no one deserves to die like that.
You're definitely a bigger man than I am.
Anyways, Von Sanctus's autopsy report says that he died of suffocation.
Well, we think the murderer overpowered him and choked him with a rope or something.
Hardly sounds like something someone would do during a psychotic episode.
Yeah, more info I get, the more I think he might be onto something. But either way, the fire that the perp started in this room burnt his body. Didn't completely turn it to ash, but it was still pretty charred.
So the fire wouldn't have burned away any evidence in the minor wounds he had.
Yeah, we're lucky we even discerned he was hit with an evocation spell.
Alright, the autopsy report mentions that too. But if a fire was started, it is possible that... Hey, yeah, no, here you go, Pokemon! If a fire was started, is it possible that he died from smoke inhalation?
No, divination spell we use always identifies smoke inhalation as death by poisoning, not death by suffocation.
Huh. I suppose that kind of makes sense. It's still a shame that we can't find out how the murderer suffocated him. We still know very little about how the murders occurred. Do you have records of each victim's spell compendiums? They might help us understand what each of the victims was doing during the attack.
Sure, knock yourselves out.
Oh boy, here we fucking go! Prestidigitation, Conjure Light, Conjure Water, Frost Wave, Shape Liquid. Yep, we're familiar with those. Slow Fall, Foresight, True Strike, Detect Magic, and Stone Skin. Wait, she knew Slow Fall? That's suspicious as fuck. She knew Slow Fall. Why the fuck would she not have stopped herself when she was falling into the lake? Cool. Mageblade, Force Cage. Send message, mend wounds. Force Cage. Prestidigitation, yeah. Conjure Light, obvious. Conjure Water, yeah, we've seen all these before. Frost Wave. Force Cage. For the duration, the caster creates a magical 10 by 10 by 10 cube around the target within. The walls are impenetrable and can't be... He literally has a fucking bunker spell that's so good. Not even spells can normally dispel. Spell effects can get rid of it. Furthermore, any attempts to magically teleport in or out will fail. If there is more than one creature in the target space, they will be pushed away from the center of the cube. Literally, each of the victims has a spell to counter the method by which they were killed. What the fuck is happening?
Chaos.
Von Sanctus has a fucking panic button that he could use to just shunt everyone away from him. whatever the fuck the divination chick's name was, has a literal slow fall. And then, of all people, Pierce can control fucking water. It's like, hello? Obviously, we know that Pierce was asleep, but, yeah, no. Mage Blade, yeah. Slow fall. Caster counteracts force of gravity, causing them to fall significantly slower, yeah. Caster invokes the ultimate form of divination magic to see brief glimpses of the near future. While this spell is active, the caster is also able to sense danger. What the fuck? Literally, what the fuck? Hello? How does she not always have this online? Hello? And then, yeah, detect magic. Have we ever actually had this in our fucking compendium? I don't think we have. Invisible magic traces left by magic. Magical traces created 2 times. Wait, what? Oh, hang on. I don't think we've actually heard this one. Magical traces are created 2 times when the spell is cast. The first is created at the position of the caster when the spell is cast. The second is created when the spell effect resolves or dissipates. Interesting. I don't remember the first one ever being brought up personally. Huh. Okay, that's good to know. I don't know if it'll come into play, but it's good to know. Stone skin creates a third layer of armor. Bop. Rad. Okay, wow, that's a lot to work through.
Yep. This is what happens when a bunch of mages are caught in the middle of a murder. Honestly, you've been lucky until now.
Nevertheless, I'll need to look over each of these spells when they become relevant. I mean, we know most of them. Alright, hey, we've gone through all the dialogue. Good. The chalk outline in the center of the room. This must be where they found Von Sanctus's body. There's even bits of ash there. Must be from the burnt fragments of the body. Ooh, there's...
There are traces of evocation in a bunch of different spots around the room.
You think the perk threw a bunch of fire-based evocation spells around to start the fire. The Kingsguard used a bunch of water-based evocation spells to put it out before the fire spread.
That makes sense. With knowledge in mind, there's nothing out of the ordinary here. The fuck is this? Oh, he did use
There's
it.
a trace of abjuration magic in the center of the room.
Huh. The traces overlap with the body?
Kind of. It's sort of square-shaped.
Square-shaped? I can't see the traces, but there also seems to be a square-shaped outline around the body.
You're right. They overlap perfectly.
The area inside the square is a lot less burnt now that I look at it. I'm not sure what this means yet, but it's definitely worth taking note of. Does Force Cage not let air through? There's no way, right? Hang on. That's such a stupid spell if that's true. Where the fuck is it? Which one?
It's the circle.
Oh, it is this one.
Yep, that
Okay.
one right there.
The walls of the cube are impenetrable. Oh my god. Are you kidding me? This is so Why? Who created the spell? Why would you not let air through? Come on, guys. Cool. So... Wow, okay, got it. That's very dumb. If I'm correct in that, that's very dumb. Even now, the sunlight is shining through the stained glass windows. Looks like the fire reached them before it was put out. Cool. Okay, I think we've got pretty much everything. Is there anyone here? Just you, Celeste, and the statue. I don't feel safe here.
Why is that statue freaking you out so much? That Pegasus is literally a celestial like you.
I don't know, but I can feel it suffering through the eye.
It's an inanimate object, Tyrion.
Let's move somewhere else.
Is it really an inanimate object?
Oh no.
Hmm.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Eris, did you turn it to stone? What did you do?
I can't
All
believe
right.
I can't believe Eris did this to Discord.
Ha!
Alright, whatever it takes for you to stop acting so weird.
Can we actually speak to Steel One now? No. The Inquisition and the Steel Guard and the King's Guard must be processing. Come back later.
We
Alright.
still need to go to I think, is it the Nave? I think it's the Nave.
Might be the Knave.
Maybe?
No, this is probably just where we... What do you think we should go next? Why are you asking me? Cool. No, yeah. Every Ace Attorney game has that first area that you can go back to get, like, hints and stuff.
Did we miss something somewhere?
It would have had to have been in the fucking common room, if anything. Maybe we present something to him? Hang on. What about if we tell you about... Nope. Okay, cool. You don't have any interest.
Okay, I'm getting too hungry. Elena, could you take over Celeste for me?
Very well.
What do you think about Tamora? No? Okay.
I'll just be like 10 minutes or so.
Unless there's something we forgot to examine here?
I mean, scorch marks all over. No. It's been pretty good at making sure that we've... Oh,
It was literally that.
okay, cool.
I bet now someone's gonna show up in the garden or something. Or the west balcony. There we go.
You arrive at the west-facing balcony of the cathedral.
I've arrived.
Supposedly,
We have spaghetti.
this is where the murderer threw Sybil's body into the lake. Oh, hello there.
Oh, hello there.
As you inspect the area, you catch the attention of an old man nearby. From his garb, he appears to be someone who works at the cathedral.
I don't believe we've met before. What are you doing here?
Sorry for the intrusion. I'm Tyrion Cuthbert, and this is my bodyguard, Celeste McCoy. Elena,
We're investigating the murders on behalf of Prosecutor Steelwind.
Tyrion Cuthbert. I have heard of you. He doesn't look nearly as criminal as I expected him to be.
Judging from his thoughts, he probably hasn't heard many good things about you.
Ah, but forgive my rudeness. I am Theon Arceus, High Speaker of the Church of Bahamut. I know it's probably Arceus.
No, Arceus seems good.
I am Arceus.
So you're the one who saw Steelwind here during the murders? You mind if we ask you some questions? He scans you warily.
I suppose there would be no harm in that.
Sir, where are you hiding your staff right now?
It's in my crowd. It's a bag of holding.
It's very funny. We heard that you saw the prosecutor acting strangely here. Could you tell us more about what you saw? Did it look like she was having a psychotic episode?
I wouldn't go that far, but she was certainly acting strangely.
How did you come across her?
Well, I was on my way to the prayer room. I always recite prayers from the Draconic texts around that time.
Wait, he was heading to the prayer room?
When I saw her, I first thought she was just enjoying the view of the lake. I was about to greet her. When I approached her, I saw that she was throwing something off the edge of the balcony.
You must have seen her dumping Sybil's body.
You're probably correct. Came to the same conclusion after they found that poor woman's body below us. Although...
What is it?
I only saw it for a second, so perhaps I'm wrong. But Lady Sybil was wearing much brighter colors this morning. Whatever Lady Steelwind threw into the lake, it looked much darker.
What does that mean?
I'm sorry, I can't really explain it. Perhaps I was just seeing things. My eyes aren't as good as what they used to be after all. Could have just been a trick of the light. Hi, Eris.
Could be. Feign death is concentration. Yeah, it was. Oh yeah, by the way, I don't know if you saw earlier, but look at all the spells we have now.
We can make a setting accurate spell list to give to characters when we do the eventual D&D one shot.
Yep. We also
No
know
joke,
each and every single one of their spell compendiums. We are missing Steelwind's, obviously, but I really want to get that Steelwind spell compendium as soon as fucking possible, because that seems really fucking important.
What are some of the notable spells you've seen so far?
Force Cage!
we did find Force Cage, which, considering Von Sanctus died from suffocation, I'm getting the distinct impression that this spell is stupid and doesn't let air through. If I'm correct, this is a very stupid spell.
Okay.
It's also worth noting that Sybil knows slow fall. Why the fuck did she hit the water and suffocate if she knew slow fall? So yeah.
Wait, suffocation. Hang on. Suffocation is a recurring thing here. What if?
Yep.
Wait, does Slowfall require verbal components?
Probably. Yeah.
She couldn't cast it.
Yep.
It wasn't suffocation by drowning.
What? And you also mentioned feign death.
Yeah, if you want to take a look at that.
Fear to be dead, the target will stop breathing, their heart will stop beating. However, the life energy of the spell will keep them alive for the duration. Yeah, I noticed that on the Twitch side. My first thought on that was like, you think the only reason Crazy Steelwind didn't kill us is because Beatrice put feign death on our body?
I also didn't realize this. An affected creature will be woken up from their slumber if they are violently shaken or experience any sort of pain.
So Pierce would have woken up.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's something worth noting. Then shape water, obviously.
It's just like Papa Roach said. Suffocation, no breathing.
Ha ha ha. Couldn't give a fuck.
Don't give a fuck if I fall off this building.
Alright, anyways. If you saw Lady Arya dumping Sybil's body, she must have just murdered her. That means you must have been heading to where we were at the time.
Oh, are you praying there with Lord Pierce?
Not exactly.
What? That's not what guards told me.
The guards? Do you mean the one standing watch outside the prayer room?
Yes, they told me that Pierce was praying with some acquaintances of his. They said the same thing to Lady Steelwind as well.
Wait, Steelwind was there too?
Yes, she appeared to be waiting for something. But anyways, I didn't want to disturb them, so I went back to my quarters to pray there.
The High Speaker didn't see her fighting Celeste. She must have started her attack after he left, but why would she bother waiting? Either way, we can't exactly question those guards.
Yeah, they're still comatose after the attack.
Sorry, I was getting cheese.
Of course you were.
Don't worry, I had like one line as Celeste.
The high
to get cheese. I went to get spaghetti.
Of course you did. Actually, the High Speaker's quarters aren't that far away from the prayer room. How did you not hear anything?
Must be because of the magical wards.
Magical wards? Are they there for security reasons?
Not exactly. I actually suffer from chronic insomnia. Even the smallest sound will wake me up at night. Years ago, I had some mages enchant the walls so sound couldn't travel through them. Can't hear anything outside the room once I shut my door.
It does sound awfully convenient, but you doubt he'd lie about something you could so easily verify. Either way, you should make a note of this.
And old High Priest of Bahamut can't sleep. This is just War Boss.
There's some sort of debris on the ground. You pick up one of the pieces and feel it in your hands. It appears to be some kind of gravel. Oh, did she throw a fucking golem or something? Did she throw a fucking golem disguised as Sybil? Or some shit?
You can see the sky?
Wait. Hold on. Did Sybil know... Was she the one that knew Stone Skin?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think she might have, yeah. No, that's
Yep,
a
she
good
was.
point. That's a really good point. Yeah, she
That
sure
would
did.
explain why her colors were different.
That's a really good point. That's a really good point. She sank like a fucking rock because she was covered in stone. But would Slowfall still not work in that scenario? I guess that's an interesting thing we might come up against.
Actually, can we look at Stone Skin again quick?
Yeah. As long as the caster concentrates on the spell, so they can just unconcentrate from it. It's weird. I don't know. Spelkany provides a perfect view of Lake Galacrond. A lot of people probably come here when the Grand Cathedral is open to the public. I can see the military stronghold in the distance.
They must be able to see a lot from that high up.
I need to go get water, actually. Elena, take over
We
again.
detected magic here.
We have not. That's a good call.
Repario Arcanum.
There are traces of transportation on the pieces of this debris.
That would imply that a spell specifically targeted or created wherever this came from. But I doubt that someone created these bits of gravel. It must have broken off from something else. Yeah, there we go. And I'm pretty sure that...
Stone Skin's transmutation.
Yeah.
Yep.
Her protect.
How about now? No.
You need to
Garden.
present
Yes.
something to people.
You arrive back at the cathedral garden and come across that accursed statue again. It's staring into my soul.
Then stop looking at it!
As you move your attention away from the grotesque sculpture, you spot the Crown Prince. He's sitting on a bench, guarded by some knights from the King's Guard. His brow is furrowed, and he seems to be deep in thought.
Oh, Curb, I just realized something I need to do in the Ace Attorney thing.
Hmm.
I need to check the sparkling and the twilight line.
Oh my god. Well, do that later, because right now you
Later.
have lines.
Yes.
Oh, Mr. Cuthbert. And Miss McCoy, too. What are you still doing here?
We're trying to investigate what happened. We were looking around when we just happened to find you here.
I see.
Are you okay?
Yes, I was just thinking about how unfortunate this whole ordeal has been. I do hope Miss Steelwind is taking this well.
Right, she is his fiancée after all.
She's being framed for murder. I don't think she's taking it well.
He must be extremely worried about her. We're trying to find out what exactly happened. Do you mind if we ask you some questions?
I see. Well, I'll do whatever I can to help.
Not just framed for murder, she believes she was responsible.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think she's
Eris-
taking anything
Eris probably
well.
made her think that she's fully responsible for this shit.
You said you two were investigating the murders. Sorry.
You're good.
You weren't planning to defend Miss Steelwind, were you?
If she would have me. She may be a competent prosecutor, but I have far more experience defending clients.
Unfortunately, I think the situation is more complicated than that.
What do you mean?
Several house leaders died today. We can't release this information to the public. Not after the news of Frega's death has already spread. In the course of 2 months, we lost not 1, but 3 members of the Pillar families.
The trial has to happen soon, or else the magical traces left will disappear.
From what I've heard, we will be holding a trial. But it will be handled privately and internally. I'm sorry to say that you won't be permitted to serve in such a trial.
Right. A majority of the nobility hates me, after all. You wouldn't happen to be able to pull some strings, would you, Aster?
I'm sorry. I'd like nothing more than to give you the opportunity to represent her. But I clearly have a personal attachment to the case. If I try to trip the trial in her favor, it'll only harm her chances more.
Right. I see what you mean. But even if we can't help during the trial, we can still investigate the crimes on her behalf.
Yes, I would really appreciate that. Just don't go and start jumping in the prosecutor's seat of another one of my fiancés.
Make no promises.
I'm sorry, I had to. If new evidence is found, perhaps we can exonerate Miss Steelwind of the charges against her.
After everything that's happened, I really need to know. Why were there so many nobles gathered in one place anyways? All 4 of the Pillar families were present. I understand if you don't want to tell me, but this information could be vital in figuring out what really happened.
No, I see your point. Truth is, we all gathered to mourn the death of my father, King Olivier de Wyvangard the Ninth.
Wait, the king is dead?
Yes, we wanted to avoid releasing this information to the public so close to the death of Freyja. My father's been ill for quite some time, so we were prepared for this. Well, at least I thought I was.
Hit me right in the stomach.
Oof.
I'm still reeling from my grandpa earlier this year.
Oof.
Man, game's coming for everyone tonight.
I also lost my mother when I was quite young. It's still all a little hard to take in.
I'm sorry. You have my condolences.
Thank you.
If King Olivia is dead, that would make you...
Yes, you currently stand before King Aster de Wyvangard, ruler of our kingdom.
Considering everything that's happened, he seems less than thrilled about that. I suppose that explains why all these nobles were gathered.
They came under the guise of paying their respects. It's clear all they wanted was to get close to the new king. I think the Fregas were the only ones who genuinely came to give their condolences.
Not even Steelwind. Holy shit.
Listen. Steelwind had to come to marry me so I could properly be coronated.
Speaking of the Fregas, I think you need to know. I saw Beatrice before I was knocked out. I think she may have been the one that killed Garrick Pierce.
Why would she be there?
I'm sorry, I know she's your friend, but I already know she's not above committing murder.
I see. I suppose if you're saying it, it must be so.
Really, just like that.
Reason would she have to be involved in something like this?
I mean, he's a fanboy, so yes, just like that.
Not
Jesus,
sure yet, but I plan to find that out. By the way, where were you during the murders? I remember you left with Steelwind when Celeste and I arrived at the cathedral.
Yes, Steelwind and I left to speak with High Speaker Arceus in his quarters.
What was your meeting about?
It was actually about a wedding. My father's death, Lord Steelwind wanted to finally make our union official.
Oh! I would congratulate you two, but considering the circumstances...
I understand, and I appreciate your words nonetheless.
Anyways, how long did this meeting last?
I believe we spoke with him until around 104.
But Von Sanctus died at 2:05.
Or 140, I'm sorry.
Yeah, 140. That means that she began her rampage less than half an hour after that meeting. Was there anything off about her behavior?
Now that you mention it, something about her demeanor changed. We were speaking of the wedding when she abruptly left. I asked her where she was going, but she ignored me.
That sounds similar to what happened when Celeste fought her. There's no way she was affected by Mage Blight.
You fought her?
No.
And I won.
Celeste fought her. Yeah, she did.
I honestly didn't think much of it at the time. I'm quite used to her giving me the cold
Right.
It's
This
possible
pure,
that the yeah, I know.
pure
He's
boy.
he's such a himbo. I love him. It's possible that the steel wind the witness saw wasn't actually real. Does that mean the steel wind that attended the meeting was also a fake? No. No.
Man.
Mind control.
Tyrion and Aster really are just birds of a feather when it comes to, like, realizing things.
I'm guessing that for most of these, Steelwind was present, but I get the feeling that way the fuck back in Case 3 when Eris interrupted Orym and Steelwind when they were interrogating the culprit of that.
The headmaster.
Yeah, the headmaster. Oh no, that was Case 2, wasn't it? Jesus.
Yep.
Yeah, way back in Case 2 when they got interrupted, I think Eris was probably setting up this, like, sleeper agent bullshit. I still don't think Steelwind did most of these, but she was at the very least actually physically present for most of these. Because I get the feeling that Sybil was already dead, had Stone Skin on. Oh no, Stone Skin is concentration, isn't it? So no, she would have still needed to be alive. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to get to that, I suppose. But... Huh. Unless somebody else cast Stone Skin on her, that would have been an ooh.
Cast stone skin on someone wearing
Does
dark
it?
colors.
Yeah, hang on,
what?
I need to check that. Can you cast that on someone else? I'm curious. The caster creates a craft
Around their body.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
no.
no. Just wanted to be sure. I really want to get Steelwind's fucking spell compendium so badly. I want it so badly. What did you see? I've got so many theories. They're all fucking jumbled in my head. Anyways, what happened
Welcome to
after
Ace
your
Attorney.
what happened after your meeting with the High Speaker? Did you see Steelwind after that?
Actually, I found myself caught up in something else entirely. At 2, I went to pay respects at my father's coffin. But apparently someone had set a magical trap there.
Oh.
What?
It was a glyph of contingency.
Oh, glyph of wardening and contingency mixed together, huh? Terrifying.
Oh. I mean,
It's a delayed, not delayed casting, but
yeah. Glyph of warding does actually have this feature in it.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying,
using
like,
the-
contingency is also a spell, which has a similar effect.
Yeah, it's all either way. The both of them are scary.
Yep.
you just fumbled.
Contingent spell. God. The biggest issue. Beatrice doesn't know the spell.
Mm-hmm.
And I get the feeling.
I have heard of that spell. It's like a trap you can set, and you can infuse any spell into it.
But it requires a second contingent spell to place the trap. Which spell was it?
It was a force cage targeting me.
Okay, well, he didn't die from suffocation, so.
Okay, Sais, are you back, or...?
I'm back now, yeah.
Okay.
I'm just taking the time to eat a bit.
You're good.
Was the Meta trying to attack
Lucky.
Asta, too?
I don't think so. They would have used a more lethal spell if they wanted to. But from the sounds of it, Force Cage can't be dispelled, so Aster would have been trapped inside for that full hour.
Oh,
Use this as a distraction.
wait. She knew it was gonna happen.
Who's she?
I don't
Steel
know. Like,
Wind.
Steelwind.
That's actually very fair. Steel
Yeah,
Wind,
she knew it was gonna happen, so before she went crazy, she locked Aster away.
or at the very least before she got triggered as a sleeper agent kind of vibe. That's
Because
a
from
very,
what we've heard,
yeah.
People are being forced
Actually,
to do this.
To bring up as
So-
well,
That's a very fair prediction.
And from what Beatrice said, she said, "What are you going to make me do this time?"
Yep.
if I can
Yep,
bring up as well, Aster said that just Steelwind left without saying a word, and then made it seem like he was still talking with Arceus for a little bit there. She even possessed Steelwind could have put the rune down in the short time frame.
Yeah. Did you say this line?
Because of that trap, the King's Guard consolidated most of their attention and forces on my location. As a result, there were fewer people guarding Von Sanctus, Sybil, and Pierce. And the ones that were all fell comatose. They can't tell us what happened to them.
Yet another inexplicable event is added to the list. For everything you've learned, you highly doubt that Steelwind was affected by Mage Blight, so someone must be behind what happened, but who? Anyways, it seems he's told you everything he knows. He probably didn't witness much after he was trapped by that force cage. Come on! Boo! Where the fuck else do we go? Back to the prayer room, maybe? Nope.
Are you gonna present things to people?
I mean, it said to move somewhere else. Maybe just back to the
Actually, can we talk to Arceus
There
there
we go.
about, like... Oh, well,
It's the brat.
Oh, that's me. Yeah. She attacked a member of the royal family and killed several nobles. What else is there to investigate? The laws are clear about what we must do. We should execute her immediately. Who the fuck wants him?
man, I thought this was the king at first, but the king's dead.
Yeah,
so
king's
I don't know
dead.
Who the fuck this is?
By the way,
Might
what's
be
with
the new
this-
prosecutor. Might be a member of the Sybil family.
What's with this, like, opening of mystery dungeon music? It's awesome.
Yeah, true. Fucking... I don't know, Min for the time being, I suppose.
Alright, do you want me to take this seriously, or do you want me to do something stupid?
Do something stupid.
Oh, Alaric, this situation is not much input to make such rash decisions.
Appear the platypus.
I don't hate it. Okay, cool.
We need to approach this calmly and carefully.
As you return to the nave, you spot the young prince in an argument with that nobleman you saw earlier.
Can you really call that a nobleman?
Now that you think about it, you still have no idea who he is. Oh, it's you two, Your Highness. And I don't think we've been introduced.
What?
I see you're still as insolent as ever. You stand before Sir Remus Vergile, Archduke and Royal Vizier to the Wyvern Guard throne. Visor? I think it's
I,
visor.
I believe he means advisor.
Yeah, okay. He did say visor, got you. Royal advisor. Archduke? You didn't even know the Kingdom of Wyverngard had a title like that. Haven't you ever heard of him before?
Why are you two still here anyways? I thought the cathedral was closed for the investigation.
We're investigating what happened on behalf of Prosecutor Steelwind.
I see. Anyways, I have much to attend to. I'll be taking my leave.
You sense a tinge of anxiety. Is he avoiding you? Actually, since we have you here, we have some questions for you. The both of you. You should know your place, Nabe. Your Grace, where were you when the murders took place? Just what are you trying to insinuate?
Oh, please, Alric, there's no need for that. To answer your question, I was speaking with Lady Frega's familiar.
Tracker?
No, it was the demon who calls himself Maranath.
What? Why would you want to speak with him?
He was actually the one that sent for me. According to him, he had some information that was of great import to me.
You didn't make a contract with him, did you?
Of course not. What kind of desperate fool do you take me for?
I love how well you do this. Fuck.
No, he gave me the information he had freely.
But why would he do that? Demons are supposedly always trying to trick humans into making deals with them.
Well, looking back, it might have been the distraction. Ah, what a fool I was. I knew he was playing with me, but I knew he couldn't tell lies. The information he had was too important to ignore.
If you don't mind me asking, what was the information about?
Classified.
I'm sorry, but I can't reveal what he told me. Could endanger people that I care about. But rest assured, I doubt it has anything to do with this massacre.
Your Grace, we've only just met. I can't exactly take your word for it.
I suppose that's fair. Well, but believe me when I say that I plan to take this information to my grave.
That's ominous. But he's clearly intent on keeping their conversation a secret.
Anyways, several members of the King's Guard were watching us. They can verify my alibi.
How long did this conversation last?
I just want to point out that it just shows a bunch of question marks for his age.
Mm-hmm.
And arcane art.
Well, I had to speak with him at 1:50 p.m., and I didn't leave until 3:10 p.m.
So he was accounted for during the time of the murders. But why would Maranath go to the trouble of distracting him in the first place? Whoever orchestrated this also used Force Cage to trap Aster. Were they trying to distract the forces in the cathedral? Were they trying to keep certain people out of the crossfire? Either way, it's clear that Beatrice has a lot to answer for. Your Highness, we heard the prosecutor cast a spell on you when you saw the fire in the common room. Can you tell us more about what happened? I can't believe she attacked a member of the royal family. She was completely irresponsible with her magic. I understand your feelings about this, but we can't say for certain that she inflicted mage blight on herself. We don't even know if it was actually her. I saw her with my own eyes. Plenty of other people did too. Either way, where did this happen? It was on the path outside the common room. I saw smoke coming from the building, and I saw Steelwind walking away from it. So this must have been after she murdered Von Sanctus. I have a feeling I already know the answer, but was she behaving erratically? No! She very deliberately cast a spell on me. Which once again implies that Mage Blight wasn't behind this. Do you know which spell she cast on you? I'm not sure. I've never been afflicted by a spell like that before.
From the magical traces on him, we know that it was a transmutation spell.
You literally did get polymorphed!
Transmutation spells manipulate and change physical matter. It's scary to think that what that might do to a human body. Are you sure he's okay?
Lotus Clepius inspected him. He doesn't appear to have any lasting injuries. I'm hoping the spell's effects were only temporary.
Can you describe what you felt like while you were affected by it? It might help us identify which spell it was. Well, I was extremely dazed and my ears were ringing. My vision was also partially blurred. It was as if my mind was in some sort of fog. When I tried to speak, I couldn't even form words with my mouth. I could only make some grunting sounds. I couldn't walk either, so I had to crawl on the floor. Yeah, he was absolutely polymorphed. I'm sorry you had to go through that. Must have been traumatic. What kind of transmutation spell would do that to him?
Polymorph.
It had to be something that affected his senses.
So what's the description of polymorph?
We don't have it yet. We don't have a polymorph spell yet.
Ooh.
We'll probably get it once we get to Steelwind.
Steelwind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once we get Steelwind's compendium, we'll probably have more on that. Don't move yet. No. You already told us that she wasn't acting erratically, but was there anything off about her demeanor? I only saw her for a moment. She was definitely different than usual. She was completely emotionless.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's exactly what she was like when I fought her too.
It's like she was an arcane construct. Her movements were almost robotic.
Oh my gosh, an arcane construct.
Oh, no.
For the third time.
Wait,
They can't
are there
keep
any
going.
arcane constructs on the cathedral grounds?
I was about to say they can't keep getting away with this, but Van Sanctus is dead, so no, they can't keep getting away with this. No, not for lack of trying on Van Sanctus's part. My speaker and I have specifically forbidden the staff here from using them.
It would be really convenient if all of this was done using a construct. Although you are a little tired of seeing them in your games. The game knows. They know.
They know.
Anyways, was anyone around when Steelwind cast that transmutation spell on you? No. She moved away quickly after she incapacitated me. And even if someone was around, I don't think I could have seen them anyways. Commander White also said that he was surprised no one saw the prince after that spell wore off. What happened to him? That covers Alric's account of what happened, and we got the Archduke's statement too. But there's still one last person we need to speak to.
Ah, yeah.
She and Beatrice supposedly have no memories of what happened. If it were only Beatrice saying that, I'd probably doubt it, but if Steelwind also doesn't have any memories, it could become a lot more credible. She definitely has the missing piece we need to put this together.
Are you going to the dungeon to speak with her?
I am.
Oh, wonderful. I'll be accompanying you.
What?
As the royal advisor, I have a vested interest in this investigation. Well, I trust Lucio to leave no stone unturned. Maybe you have quite the talent for seeing what the crown cannot.
Well, it's not as if you have the authority to stop him, but you still don't know him very well. You'll need to be wary of what you say in front of him. You arrive at the dungeon to see the prosecutor sitting in a holding cell. She seems extremely stressed, as if she's trying to figure something out.
Mr. Cuthbert.
And your grace.
Steelwind gives a wary look to the Archduke. How are you doing?
As best as I can, all things considered. What brings you here?
We're trying to investigate everything that happened.
See.
I was wondering if you could answer some of our questions. Steelwind, I know your situation is pretty grim right now, but you know you can trust me.
You're not the person I'm worried about. At this moment, I don't even know if I can trust myself.
What? We heard that you don't have any memories of what happened. Is that true?
It is. No matter how much I try, I can't recall anything.
What's the last thing you remember?
I believe I was leaving my meeting with the High Speaker and His Majesty. After the meeting, I was planning to return to the Nate to speak with my father, but I suddenly felt extremely nauseous. I thought some fresh air might help me feel better, so I went to the balcony.
Oh, the one over Lake Galacron?
Yes, that one. The last thing I remember was losing consciousness. I looked at the lake.
Did you cast any magic before this happened?
No, I didn't.
Are you sure you don't remember anything after that?
I don't. All I remember is waking up to the sound of someone sobbing. It was Celeste. She was crying over your unconscious body, Mr. Cuthbert.
Yeah. She thought we were dead.
I have a question.
To be fair, Arya probably thought we were dead.
Two questions. One, how the hell are we going to convict Eris?
I know, right?
Two, do you think feigned death was put on our body?
Yes. Third, how the fuck is Lucio Steelwind not dead? What the fuck?
Axe.
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 Fair.
See, that's the beauty. He might have been out of spell slots, but he wasn't out of options.
I feel like
He didn't skip leg day.
I feel like we've completely ruled out Mage Blight, so I doubt that's why you can't remember anything. Are there any spells that can specifically modify or destroy people's memories? It would certainly explain a lot of this.
No. Arcane spells can only affect the physical world. But throughout history, mages have attempted to develop spells that can affect the mind. There's no recorded history of any of them succeeding.
But you're assuming that arcane spells are the only type of magic that exists.
Ew.
What?
I think you observed it already. There are other magical creatures in this world that don't use arcane magic. Isn't that right, Mr. Cuthbert?
What? Does he know about the Eye of Horus? I'm not sure what you're trying to imply.
Oh, don't take me for a fool. Some of my associates attended Frega's trial. They all heard what that demon referred to you as.
Heaven's born.
If I learned that Moon had anything to do with this...
Your Grace, I'm not an agent of the Theocracy. But even if what you're saying is true, I wasn't the one who manipulated Steelwind's memories. I suppose you raise a good point. If something affected Steelwind's memories, it wasn't necessarily an arcane spell. In fact, it couldn't have been an arcane spell. It was definitely something else.
Probably right. Which proves I'm responsible for the murders.
What? You just said you don't have any memories of what happened. Why are you so convinced that you're responsible for this? I told the Inquisition already. I saw Beatrice before I passed out. She's clearly involved in this somehow.
There's more to this than you realize, Mr. Cuthbert. For the past few months, the Inquisition and I have been investigating a string of seemingly unrelated murders.
Yep.
During each of those cases, we were able to apprehend the perpetrator without issue. But there was always something off about them during questioning. The murderers were always normally gruesome and passionate, and each of the murderers said the same thing. They all said that they had no choice.
No choice.
Cases like this have been occurring throughout Movingard, and very little connects perpetrators to each other. All except one thing. Each of them acted as if someone had controlled them against their will.
We're probably just desperate. Most murderers try to make excuses right after they're caught. They could even just be in complete denial.
Orm said the same thing, but these cases were far too similar for me to ignore. I wondered if they were telling the truth. Perhaps each of these murders was committed by an unknown party. I didn't have any concrete evidence, but I knew I was getting close to something.
Steelwind, I don't mean to be rude, but this sounds like...
Completely insane?
You don't even have any physical evidence to prove the murders are connected.
There's one piece of evidence, but it's hardly concrete.
but it does tie each of these cases together.
She takes out a small parchment from her pocket and shows it to you. It's a purple symbol?
Several of the people we arrested had an item with this symbol on it. None of them could remember where it came from, or even what it was. But they all somehow knew that it was called the Purple Mark.
But there has to be an explanation for this. It could just be some esoteric superstition that we don't know about.
If that's true, then ask yourself one thing. Where did I get this parchment from?
You don't mean...
I found it in my pocket after I was properly confined. Whoever I've been chasing must have left it there to taunt me. For all I know, they could have controlled my body and forced me to draw the symbol myself. Either way, this all but proves the massacre. Either way, this all but proves the massacre at the cathedral is related to it.
I figured it out. We're all dealing with Free the Soul.
God damn, not again. No.
Oh no.
I don't want to dismiss what you said, but this definitely won't hold up in court.
Nor should it. If my mind has been compromised, I can't take the risk of leaving this dungeon. Otherwise, I could end up harming more people.
Wait, are you planning to spend the rest of your life in prison?
If that's what's necessary to keep everyone safe.
But what about Aster? Weren't you two supposed to be married soon? He's the king now, and you can't rule Wyverngard alongside him from a holding cell.
You're correct. But he's always been a remarkable person. He should have no problem finding the sutress.
You feel an overwhelming sadness emanating from her as she says that.
Arya?
No.
What?
You're not going to sacrifice everything for someone else's actions.
Mr. Cuthbert, I am not going to risk more lives! If I were to hurt His Majesty, I would never be able to forgive myself. Please don't ask that of me.
Steelman is gonna throw everything she cares about for the greater good. Even if she was the one who did this, she's not the one who's responsible. You can't let her resign herself to a fate like this. Steelwind, are you seriously just gonna throw your life away?
If necessary, I will give my life for this kingdom. If someone controlled my actions today, they can and will do so again. And as long as that possibility exists, I can't trust myself.
Yeah, deflect, I think.
It's definitely not threaten.
It's not the issue here. If someone else is responsible for what happened, then we need to find out who they are. They could still be out there.
If that's true, you are fully capable of finding that out yourself. As I've said, I have no memories of what happened. I'm sure one day you'll be able to find out what happened.
She'll have already lost everything by then. We don't know how the mind control works, yeah. That's assuming this person can continue to do so. You said so yourself. We haven't found any evidence to prove your theory. We don't know how this mind control works, and we don't have enough information. We can't just drop this without finding out what really happened.
I suppose you're right. But I doubt there was any goal to this. I've been investigating these murders for months, and I've never been able to find any personal clues as to who the perpetrator is. There's no way to connect them to this. Whoever did this was a sadistic individual who wanted to cause as much suffering as possible.
Oh, we need to present something.
Something that contradicts that it was a sadistic killer.
Take a look at the mark.
Hmm.
Unless
Hmm.
What
it's
about
the
the
murder
comatose
route.
knights?
Say again?
What about
Unless it's like the murder route or something. Because that was like deliberate.
if I was gonna say if they're just some sadistic killer, why would they just leave the knights comatose?
Hmm. Was just a sadistic killer. Yeah.
No, 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 no,
Hmm?
no, no. They caged. Like,
Aging Aster,
That's
yeah.
true. That's very true. That's not true, Steelwind. Whoever did this has very specific targets in mind. Both Prince Alric... Oh, yeah, we could have done Alric as well. Both Prince Alric and the High Speaker saw you when the murders were being committed. Not to mention they set a trap for Aster.
what?
Let's assume that someone was controlling you. They wouldn't have let Alric, Arceus, or Aster live if they were trying to kill as many people as possible.
Suppose you have a point there. But even so, that hardly narrows things down. If someone was controlling me, they wouldn't need to enter the cathedral to use me. Perhaps you're right, and the perpetrator only wanted to murder the 3 victims. There's plenty of people who might want to see those 3 dead.
Perpetrator didn't need to enter the cathedral to commit the murders.
We know. Hmm. Hmm.
Man, this is a really interesting argument.
Unless it's something spell related.
I mean, it could literally just be sleep.
Yeah, because it travels up to 30 feet, so like they'd have to be in the cathedral to cast it.
No, okay. Perpetrator didn't need to enter the cathedral to commit the murders.
I got something that contradicts it.
I mean, obviously. Is it just one of the spells that we know was like, do we just do shape water here? Don't... What do we do? Could be the Knights. Could be the Knights.
There was no need to enter the cathedral. Is this whole area the cathedral?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Could be the Knights. Can't think of anything else.
By the way, I am about to just straight up lose consciousness.
We'll try the knights. No. Okay. I have no idea for this one. Perpetrator didn't need to enter the cathedral to commit the murders.
Check glyph.
Could be Glyph. Not that one. That one.
But just...
Could try it.
The call
Yeah,
is
they
in
would-
order?
Yeah.
Oop.
There's one
Yep.
thing you're overlooking. Before the murders committed, someone trapped Aster with a force cage using Glyph of Contingency.
But they didn't harm him. It's probably just a distraction.
Even so, this gives us two very important clues. First, that whoever did this is capable of casting those two spells. That means that the perpetrator was a mage.
That's true.
But the second clue... See, this would be helpful if we had her spell compendium. Second clue is the more important one. Whoever set the trap for Aster, they did so within 24 hours of it triggering. This means that the perpetrator must have been someone who attended the funeral.
So it was one of them.
That narrows down our list of suspects substantially. There's a chance we can identify who did this. And if they really did control your actions, we can find a way to prevent them from doing so again. Steelwind, you need to fight this.
I can't.
Why not?
If we pursue an individual like this, they might retaliate even more than they already have. They wanted to remove me from my position. How will they react if I try to resist? They might even hurt more people to send a message. It's far too dangerous.
Yeah, I think it's appeal. No. Whoever did this... Oh, it could be this as well.
Yeah, I think it's either appeal or threaten.
She
is. It does say she's deeply in love with Aster and will do anything to protect him.
Yeah. Yeah, your father, the king. Yeah, I think it's threatened.
Yeah.
Whoever did this has a goal far bigger than you, and you have no guarantee that they'll stop here. 3 nobles died today, and 2 of them were near the top of the political hierarchy. What if they decide to go after more victims? Who will they target next? Your father? The king? We need to catch them before they can do more harm. I know you're frightened about what might happen to the people close to you, but we can't let someone that dangerous get away with this.
You put it that way, I suppose I have no other choice, do I?
That was a pretty tricky one.
Absolutely.
For an endgame argument, that's pretty tricky.
I never realized before, Mr. Cuthbert.
What?
You really have a bad habit of butting your nose into other people's business, don't you?
Yeah, I suppose I do.
But you're right. We can't let this go. I'll find a way to dispute this. Somehow. Thank you, Mr. Cuthbert.
I think we've known each other long enough. You don't need to be so formal. You've successfully argued against Arya Steelwind. Woo! Not what I meant to do.
Perhaps I may have judged you.
No, I agreed to fight this, but...
What is it? You're the most qualified attorney in the nobility. You'll definitely be able to make a case for yourself.
As you probably know, House Civil controls the legislative and judicial branches of our kingdom. And they've nominated my father as the prosecutor for my trial.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
We have to face Lucio.
That's why they didn't kill Lucio. That's why Lucio is still alive. Got it! What?
No one believes my theory of mind control. Everyone believes that I overspent my magic and gave myself mage blight.
As a result, they blame House Steelwind for Coraline Sybil's death. Now, the only way for him to redeem House Steelwind is to convict me and sentence me to death.
But he's your father. There's no way he would.
This isn't the first time something like this has happened. When I was a child, my mother accidentally overused the magic and induced mage blight within herself. In her resulting psychotic episode, she massacred an entire village of commoners.
No.
House Steelwind almost lost everything after that. To redeem himself, my father personally oversaw my mother's trial and her execution.
Damn.
That's...
Axe is doing work.
My father values his duty to Evangard over everything else. Nothing matters more to him than that. Not even his family.
Man, he might not be judge, but he sure is jury and executioner, huh?
I want to have confidence in myself, but I don't know if I can face him like this.
We know this country doesn't have a jury system.
Mr. Cuthbert, what is your stake in all of this?
What?
You hate the nobility, don't you? So why are you intent on helping Miss Steelwind?
Because she's innocent. I know she is. She would never be irresponsible enough to give herself mage blight.
Mr. Cuthbert.
Doesn't matter if she's a noble or a commoner. She's being oppressed by the system and she deserves a fair trial.
Well said.
What?
I, Remus Vigilay, hereby grant you the privilege to serve as Miss Steelwind's counsel.
Wait, really?
You don't have the right!
Oh!
No.
I will be acting as the judge and arbiter of Miss Steelwind's trial.
Yo, we went from Patrick to Doofenshmirtz, let's go!
Oh my gosh!
It is within my right to grant such a
Let's go!
He literally does.
We didn't see the prosecutor, we saw the judge! Oh my god, thank you, but why would you...
Do you think I made a mistake?
No, of course not. I'll serve as Steelwind's attorney. If she will have me.
Of course. Oh my god, she is smiling!
Yeah, let's go!
There's no one else who
Holy
can trust me
crap.
with this. And please, you've done a lot for me already. You don't have to be so formal. Please call me by my first name. Celeste's already taken to doing that. But since you'll be defending me, you'll probably need this.
Thank you!
There it is. There's Polymorph.
There
Polymorph.
go!
Oh, of course she knows Steelwind's strike.
Of course she
Of
does.
course.
It is literally her.
And she knows Hold Creature. Yeah, I was about to say, didn't she know something that... Yeah, Hold Creature, that's the one. We've seen her use that before. It was very funny. Mend Wounds, Firebolt, Shape Liquid, Dispel Magic, Steel Wind Strikes, Detect Magic, Polymorph, Hold Creature. She doesn't know Sleep! She doesn't know Sleep! She doesn't know Sleep. That's so helpful! She also doesn't know Force Cage or, fucking, Glyph of... Not Glyph of...
Glyph of Contingency.
Contingency, thank you. Yeah, no, there's a lot of spells involved in this entire conspiracy that she just does not know. Alright, anyways. Firebolt, seems pretty fucking, yeah. Caster constricts the movement of the target. Haha, interesting. Okay.
Hodl.
Yeah, we've seen her use this one. Cannot use the mouth to speak, yep. Each, Interesting!
Huh.
If she had this, It can cut through thick metal armor. Why wouldn't she have been able to hit Sybil if she had this? That seems interesting. Polymorph!
It does say slashing force, and if I remember right, stone skin protects against physical forces.
That's fair.
And it's a magical.
That's
thing
probably
rather than
it
just
is.
steel.
It could be why there was all that gravel there on the balcony, though.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's very true.
Rogue.
Caster transforms a target within 30 feet into an animal. The animal can be any creature within a 2x2x2 cube. For the duration, the target's the target's senses and intellect will also be changed to match the animal. Yep.
E.T.'s friend.
Got fucking polymorphed. Become frog nerd. Spell magic.
We've seen her use this as well.
Yep.
I haven't settled. I want to try out my city of Ladon.
Aladdin. I've never heard of that place.
I'll speak with Lucio. He knows the location well.
I don't think we want to speak with Lucio.
Before you can ask any more questions, the Archduke leaves without a word. He really has a bad habit of just walking away from conversations, but I guess I should consider ourselves lucky. Even if it's unorthodox, the situation will let us approach this like any other trial. You had no idea what you were in for when you agreed to this, and what proceeded next would be unlike any trial you've ever been in. But even so, you've persevered as you've always done in the name of justice, regardless of what you've had to sacrifice to do so.
I don't like that.
Oh.
I don't like that either.
either.
We'll get to that next time. Thank
Yep.
you all so very much for stopping by. Take care of yourselves, and we'll catch you in the next stream.
Good fucking night.
I think I'm seeing what Eris's plan is.